got the wrong number.
I know, but let me talk to him anyway.
Jake, it's for you.
How did you know I was here?
I'm a detective, remember?
It slips my mind now and then.
Caroline Dodd just took a walk.
What a surprise. She leave a note for the milkman?
Her husband gets in tonight at 8 o'clock. I want you to meet the plane and show him what we've got.
Sorry, it's my day off. I'm busy.
Learn to be flexible. You won't have any time at all if your parole is revoked.
Is there anything too low for you to stoop to?
No.
You didn't have to answer that. That was a rhetorical question.
Translocal flight 68 from Paris, now arriving at gate number 2. Translocal flight 68 from Paris, now arriving at gate number 2. Final call, TGA Flight 5 for London, boarding at gate 10. Final call, TGA Flight 5
Dodd?
for London.
I'm Jake Wyler. Remember, I work for Judge Merritt.
Oh, yes. If you've come all the way out here, I guess you must have something for me.
Where could we talk?
My office.
Fine.
Is it, a good or bad?
I have a car outside.
Is that the club?
Yes.
Who's the man?
New tennis pro. His name is Frank Morrison. I'm sorry, Mr. Dodd, but you did want her watched.
Tell me about him.
Here's his dossier. Ex-bartender, ex-actor, ex-everything.
Why are you giving me a drink? There's something else, isn't there?
I'm afraid so.
Let me have it.
Your wife left you today. She moved out. Well, why don't you have the drink? Mr. Dodd, are you all right?
Yes.
Do you want me to leave my report?
It won't be necessary. Good night, Wyler.
Hi, Mr. Dodd. Mr. Dodd. Mr. Dodd.
please?
I don't suppose
Yes. Oh, certainly. No, of course. Thank you very much. Mr. Wyler, Mr. Dodd is resting.
I know he's resting. I brought him here an hour ago. How's his condition?
I really couldn't say. Dr. Simon will be down in a few minutes. Why don't you wait in our hobby lounge or browse in our art gallery?
How about your ski lift?
We do not have a ski lift.
An intern to
Here's the doctor now.
Mr. Wyler?
Yes.
I'm George Simon. Mr. Dodd wanted me to thank you for your assistance.
Well, he's all right then.
He would be if I could get him off the phone. However, we believe in pampering our patients here.
What's the matter, Doc? Is it his heart?
Oh, no. Nervous exhaustion. Apparently, he suffered a shock recently, and that triggered his collapse. We'll keep him here a few days.
Okay, doctor, thank you.
Don't you want to see him?
Some other time. I have to sit up with a healthy friend.
Put Jake on.
He's not here.
Find him.
You know something? I don't like you.
All great women run the risk of public disfavor. Jake, please.
What would you do if I got an unlisted number?
Hang a bell on your tail. I want you to go over to the Foxcroft Hospital.
I was just there.
So I've heard. Go back and reacquaint yourself.
Why? Does Dodd want to see me?
Hardly. He's dead.
An orderly to the solarium. An orderly to the solarium, please. Dr. Justin to the telephone. Dr. Justin to the telephone.
Morning, Jake. Push button suicide.
Morning, Lieutenant.
I guess it's a matter of taste.
You think he killed himself?
It's in the realm of possibility.
You hate to take a stand, don't you?
Now, what do you want from an overweight bureaucrat? If it is suicide, Judge Meredith says you can tell us why.
How much do you know?
Well, just that you were working for Dodd. Now, why don't you bring me up to date?
I'll buy a cup of coffee. Coffee?
No, I have peanuts.
I thought you were on a diet.
I am.
And quit stuffing yourself.
No harm in these. Ever see a fat squirrel?
A nurse to the billiard lounge.
I'll probably file the Dodd case under suicide. Thanks for your help, Jake.
Spare me the gratitude. I'm here under duress.
Sound like Judge Meredith. How is the old girl, by the way? Still hold up like Robinson Crusoe?
Hasn't opened a window in years.
What do you call that thing she's got?
Hypochondriac. Plus a few dozen assorted allergies, so she says. Oh, my hunch is she doesn't like getting out of the house.
Shame she had to retire. One of the best sitting judges we ever had. Man or woman. Tell me, does she make any dough as a private detective?
The rich get richer, but not the people that work for her.
Stop complaining. She gave you a job, didn't she? And she got you paroled in her custody.
Sure. And she also sentenced me in the first place.
You could be worse off.
How's that?
You could be Robert Dodd.
You're late.
She said 1 o'clock.
It's 12 after.
But One of these days, I'm going to turn her to the National Labor Relations Board for unfair practices. I always get the feeling I'm on the inside of an egg.
And you're wearing that Dacron polyester jacket that she hates.
Malice aforethought, pal.
Take it off.
Thanks, sir.
You'd make a great orthodontist.
Quint,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Devil's Island, Jake. Remember the lady got us all parole, so now we must walk the chalk. Which reminds me, cigarettes?
I quit.
Cigarettes?
I told you I quit. Sorry I'm late, but I had a few old bridges to burn.
Miss Alicia Dodd. This is my assistant, Jake Wyler.
So nice to meet you, Mr. Wyler.
I'm sorry about your loss, Miss Dodd.
No loss. I didn't particularly like my father.
The usual Oedipal thing, or did you have another reason?
Just to know him was to hate him.
Oedipal.
Lieutenant Wolfson wants these back in his file before the end of the day.
Make copies. Oh, Miss Dodd, this is my secretary, Chloe Jones.
Hi.
Hello. The Dacron polyester jacket?
What else?
Of course.
Jake? Miss Dodd thinks her father was murdered.
Oh?
And even in light of this police report, she wants to hire us at our standard astronomical fees to prove it.
It sure looked like he hanged himself. I was there.
I can get opinions like that from the police, and for free.
Miss Dodd, my late husband was a gentleman, patient. You could almost say he was saint-like. But I would hate to tell you what he thought of free opinions. In any event, let's clarify things. You want us to prove that your father didn't kill himself.
Exactly.
Jake! Where'd you get that cigarette?
I smuggled it in a loaf of bread.
Douse it. My apologies, Miss Dodd, but my condition is aggravated by any kind of smoke. A fact which my assistant is well aware of. Now about your father. You must have a reason why you think he didn't commit suicide.
I have 4 reasons, all living and breathing.
And all with motives?
Let's just put it this way. Each one of them is better off with him dead.
How do you like that? They're jealous of each other.
Claims Division, Mr. Gilbert.
Nice to hear your voice again, too, Judge.
Who? Oh, Robert Dodd. Yes, we wrote his life insurance policy. Why?
I want some information on it, like when the policy was written, like if it had a 2-year suicide clause.
Judge, all policies are kept confidential.
I know that.
That's why I'm not supposed to give that information out.
I know that, too.
I suppose your man, what's his name, could drop by the office and just happen to see the Dodd policy on my desk while I'm out washing my hands.
His name is Jake.
Well, have him come here before lunch so that washing my hands won't be a total loss.
Right.
Every time she makes a phone call, I get indigestion.
Ours is not to reason why. Coffee?
Thanks, Chloe. It's a waste of time for me to go down there.
Chew with your mouth closed.
Can't you see why Alicia Dodd is trying to turn a simple suicide into a complicated murder?
I know why you think she's doing it.
Well, why doesn't somebody explain it to me?
As a suicide, Dodd's life insurance pays off only the amount of the policy.
And if he was murdered, what does it pay?
Triple.
I buy Jake's theory.
I don't.
Well, you better, friend. It's going to cost this company triple indemnity.
Oh, I believe Dodd killed himself, all right. But I doubt his daughter is claiming murder so that she can collect triple damages.
Why not?
Will you excuse me while I wash my hands?
Listen, there's nobody here but us computers. You can trust me to keep it confidential.
Can I?
Word of honor.
Okay. I have to go to the bathroom.
That's fine for tonight. Round up the others. Meredith.
You were right.
I know. What about?
Alicia Dodd. She couldn't collect from her father if he was accidentally launched from Cape Kennedy.
Okay, Judge, here's our report.
Just a minute. We're having a poker game tonight.
Poker?
Let's have some delicatessen with plenty of dill pickles.
Dill pickles?
Hey, what, are you ordering lunch?
Look, I'm going to hang up if you're not going to listen to this.
Haven't you told her yet?
I've tried, but her mind wanders. You know how it is with an invalid.
An invalid?
I better go wash my hands again.
We'll discuss that remark later. Now, why couldn't Alicia Dodd collect? A rich man like her father must have had a triple indemnity clause.
Oh, he did. The only trouble is Alicia Dodd is not his beneficiary.
Who is?
Carolyn Dodd, his wife.
Yeah, but hardly your mother.
My stepmother, to be exact. My father drove my real mother over the edge a long time ago.
Are you a fan of Caroline's?
Well, not particularly. She's a Capricorn, and you know those.
Bad luck, Capricorn.
Here it is.
What? I don't believe it.
Yep. Uh-huh. $300 for contact lenses, and I keep losing them. Daddy insisted I wear them. I wonder what my analyst would make of that.
Something profound.
Oh, you want a refill?
Just to the top. How long was your father married to the second Mrs. Dodd?
About a year. Then he had a dandy little blow-up just before he left for Europe.
Why'd he go? To clear the air?
To sell the machinery he manufactures for the Iron Curtain countries.
That's not very romantic.
But a lot more profitable.
You're fixated on money, aren't you?
Oh, only when I don't have it. You see, Daddy recently cut me off without a credit card.
Why would he do a thing like that?
Because my stepmother told him to.
Why would she do a thing like that?
To become his sole heir after he was murdered.
Mrs. R. Hardy, telephone, please. Mrs. R. Hardy, telephone, please. Mr. Raleigh, could you please go to
Mrs.
the
Dodd?
tennis pro
Yeah?
I'm Jake Wyler. I'm investigating your late husband's death.
Tennis pro shop?
Here? Is it only the locale that surprises you?
What else should surprise me?
Anyone wanting to investigate a clear-cut case of suicide?
You must have your reasons, Mr.
Wyler. Yes, I'm doing it for the money.
Whose money?
Alicia Dodd's.
Interesting. The last I heard, she didn't have any. Frank? I'd like you to meet Mr.
Wyler.
Frank Morrison.
How do you do?
Nice to meet you. Sit down and have some tiger smoke. Something stiffer?
Scotch?
George? Scotch and two of the usual.
Are you allowed to drink on duty, Mr.
Wyler. What she's trying to tell you is I'm a private detective.
Hired by Alicia to investigate Robert's suicide?
Or murder, as the case may be.
Murder?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, Mrs. Dodd?
Not at all. You may talk freely. Mr. Morrison is part of the family, or will be after a suitable period of mourning.
Oh.
You see, I left my husband the same day that he killed himself. Obviously, his suicide shocked me.
Of course.
But it hasn't changed my plans to marry Frank.
Well, I guess I should say congratulations. By the way, where were you last night? Celebrating?
No, I don't think that's any of your business, Mr.
Wyler, darling. It's perfectly all right. I have nothing to hide. Last night, I spent the evening by myself. I had some thinking to do.
You and Mr. Dodd were married about a year, weren't you?
That's right.
I presume he didn't take out life insurance until after the wedding.
Okay, that's enough. Get out of here.
Frank, please.
You know what he's saying? That you married Dodd for his money. Now move.
Frank, I like you. I really do. You're a crackerjack swimmer, and I bet you play a mean game of tennis. But if you don't let go of my coat, we're going to have to fight, aren't we? And that would be embarrassing all around.
Frank, please, you're making a scene.
Tickets for the annual Players Dinner Dance will go on sale at 4 p.m. at the reception desk. Tickets for the annual Players Dinner Dance will go on sale
Thank you.
at 4 p.m. at the reception desk.
Actually, Mrs. Dodd, I might be doing more for you than anyone else. That is, if I can prove your husband was murdered.
I imagine you're going to explain that last statement.
If Mr. Dodd killed himself, he won't collect a cent. He had a 2-year suicide clause in his policy.
What does that mean?
If the insured takes his life within 2 years of the date of the policy issuance, all bets are off. No payment to the beneficiary.
And if he was murdered?
Mrs. Dodd collects triple.
Then we now have to hope that Robert was murdered.
That's right. Unless you were the one who murdered him. Cheers.
Jake Wyler? Mr. Rockmore wants to see you.
Does he now?
You leave your car here, we'll take the truck.
What's it all about?
Robert Dodd. Are you coming?
Why not? I never pass up a chance to increase my circle of friends.
Come in. Sir, here's Wyler.
Thank you, Andy. That'll be all. Mr. Wyler, I'm James Rockmore.
Should I salute?
Why would you do a thing like that?
Because it seems I've stumbled into World War III.
That's one of our test ranges. I manufacture weapons, Mr. Wyler. Primarily hunting rifles, but occasionally we get a government contract.
It's nice to have you work so handy.
I had the ranges built close to the house because I do some test firing myself. It's more convenient than at the factory.
Well, this is all very interesting, but what am I doing here?
I wanted to talk to you. In private. About Robert Dodd.
Ah, yes. I'm beginning to place your name. I think Mr. Dodd said he had a partner.
We were associated for 30 years.
In the gun business?
Among other enterprises, but he wasn't just my partner. He was also my friend, so my interest in his death is only natural. I understand Alicia hired you to prove that he was murdered.
You have an accurate grapevine.
Now, she's a charming girl. But she simply can't accept the fact that her father killed himself.
Can you?
I'm afraid so. He called me from the hospital last night.
Oh?
I've never heard him so despondent.
Enough to hang himself.
In my opinion, yes. Much as I hate to admit it, Robert took the coward's way out. So there's really no reason for continuing your investigation.
There's one.
What's that?
Your eagerness to get me off of it.
I'm going to tell you something in confidence. Robert was on a business trip to some of the satellite countries, but he was also on a mission for the State Department.
What kind of mission?
I don't know. But isn't it likely if there was anything unusual about his death, the government would have subjected it to complete examination?
Maybe. But that still doesn't change the fact that I'm being paid to do some examining on my own, and I'm going to keep at it.
You're being deliberately difficult, Mr. Wyler.
It's one of my inalienable rights.
So you intend to continue probing?
When I was a kid, Mr. Rockmore, my mother read me Little Engine That Could. Changed my life.
That's unfortunate.
You know what you're doing?
I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm lighting my cigar. The question is, do you know what you're doing?
So it's top secret. If any man in Washington can declassify it for me, you can. What? Did you say no? Oh, Ben, I'm sorely disappointed. And you know how difficult I can be when I'm disappointed. I get the message. No, I'm still your friend. Goodbye. It's the last thing I do. I'm going to have that man switched to the Bureau of Fish Hatcheries.
Nothing, huh?
Dodd had a letter to deliver to the State Department. He refused to tell me anything more.
Fine. All we know is who, what, why, when, and where.
There must be somebody else who can cut through the red tape and get us the information. Who do we know?
Richard, how are you today? I'm your junior senator. Nice to see you. Well, I hope I can count on your support. Thank you.
Senator.
Hello there, young man. Nice to see you. Hey, how about wearing my hat? Go with Joe.
Senator.
Later. Well, what do we got here?
Burritos. They're free samples. Would you like one, Senator?
Gracias.
Dale.
They look delicious.
Do you like them?
Fantastic.
Oh, he gets my vote.
Hello there. How are you?
Senator.
Nice to see you. Hello there.
Just a simple phone call. I'll even give you the dime.
Hey, give me a break. I'm right in the middle of a re-election campaign. Hello there. How are you?
Meredith helped you get in last time. She's got a lot of friends in this town, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Joe. Forget it. I'll just tell you I had something better to do.
Hey, wait a minute. No pity at all? Look, if that information's classified, what makes you think I can spring it?
Because you're on 6 committees and 12 subcommittees. That's why we want you back in the Senate doing such a wonderful job for us.
All right, tell her I'll call the State Department tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, Senator?
You want me to phone Washington from a phone booth out in the middle of the boondocks?
Why not? Set a precedent.
All right, hold it. And while you're standing there...
You got my vote.
Hello there. How are you?
The letter in question was from Leon Capel, Albanian novelist.
What do you know about him?
He was born July 12, 1922. Parents deceased, never married. Wrote 6 books, 2 of them considered modern masterpieces, all critical of the present regime.
What did he want with Dodd?
He gave him a letter to the State Department asking for political asylum if he defected. Dodd was going to Washington to deliver the letter personally.
Who's got the letter now?
Nobody knows. It was never found. Then Capel was arrested, and chances are he'll be tried for treason.
So somebody killed Dodd to get that letter?
Maybe. That is, if he was killed in the first place.
Speculate further. Capel was an Albanian. Isn't it possible that the murderer was one of his countrymen?
Dodd was here when it happened.
He just got back from a trip to one of the satellite countries. Maybe an Albanian followed him.
Well, maybe an Albanian was already here.
You were saying?
His name is Granicek. Anton Granicek. At least that's what he said it was.
And he told you he was in Albania.
He brought me here. Who else but a native would eat here?
I'm eating here.
Only hoping that by some fluke Granicek might pop in. Not because of the food.
How did you meet him?
Oh, wait a minute. I feel an absence on my left retina.
Contact lens.
I better reconstruct. If I remember correctly, I was leaning over to nibble on your ear. Ah, there it is. I'd better go back to horn rims. They're easier to find.
Let me see, where were we? Oh, yes. We were talking about you nibbling on my ear.
We were talking about Anton Granicek.
That's right.
You asked me how I met him.
So I did.
He phoned me and said he'd seen my father in Europe. He manufactures farm equipment or something. He was very nice, and then he asked me out to dinner, and I said yes.
Oh, what did he do after he got you here?
Made 3 passes. Incomplete. I never saw him again.
But you did tell him when your father was coming back to the U.S.
That almost sounds like an accusation.
It is. 3 passes notwithstanding. Granicek didn't want you. He wanted to know where and when your father was arriving, and you told him. Oh, you're afraid to hear the truth, aren't you?
No, but I'm afraid he will.
Who's he?
Someone who knows Granicek. They spoke to each other the night he brought me here.
Did you hear what they said?
Yes.
Good.
But they didn't say it in English.
But they did. Excuse me.
Let's get lucky for me this time, huh?
Give me 2 down.
Now,
This is your dinner for tomorrow.
Any more good news?
We should take a look cards. We're going to play this.
It should teach you not to turn your back on a man with a violin in his hand.
Yeah, you're lucky he wasn't a piano player.
You're at it again. Raise it again. I'll tell you this. Check your head this time.
Gwen,
She's in.
why isn't she sitting with him?
I guess somebody sneezed today.
Deal. 1-5-1. No. Look, are we playing cards or are we kibitzing?
I'm kibitzing.
Call me masochistic, but I'm staying in. 25.
Call me a man in a white coat. 25.
25 to you, Judge.
All right.
Looks like the judge is in.
Ready? Yeah.
Meredith,
She's in.
it's for you, Jake.
Which gender?
Masculine.
I'll call him back later.
Are we playing cards or are we not?
We're not.
Who's calling, please?
Come on, deal. Deal. 1-5-1.
Jake. It's Anton Granicek.
I must be delirious. I thought you said Anton Granicek.
I did.
Look, keep your delirium to yourself, huh? We're here to play poker. Play!
Yeah, poker. Come on, get it out. It's your turn.
Granicek? This is Jake Wyler.
Mr. Wyler, I understand you've been looking for me.
That's right.
Well, I advise you to stop looking for me.
All right.
In other words, you're giving me an order? Not in other words, Mr. Wyler. I am ordering you.
But you don't even know what I want.
I know what I want.
What's that?
Not to be embarrassed by people like you, Mr. Wyler. You possess no sense of delicacy. You remind me of one of those rather windy machines that keep on rising and dropping in front of my office. Always coming and going, never getting anywhere.
You certainly have a wonderful gift for imagery.
Mr. Wyler, just leave me alone for your own good.
Well, that's very considerate of you, but I want to... Grant a check?
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm in. Well, Judge?
Oh, 2 pair.
3 lovely canes.
I got plenty of nothing.
Flush.
Harvey's right. You must cheat.
I do, but until you catch me, don't be a sore loser.
Sit in for me, Quint.
Good deal, kiddo. Okay, folks, the pigeon's gone now. From here on, you're going to have to play tight poker to stay alive.
Just put your money where your mouth is, buddy.
Cards.
What are you doing?
The steak wasn't helping my eye, so I thought I'd eat it. I haven't had dinner yet.
Well, you spent most of the night in a restaurant.
Unconscious.
I thought you'd be on your way to see Granacek by now.
Oh, sure. He just couldn't wait to tell me where he was.
I know he couldn't. I was listening in.
Well, then you know I don't know where he is.
Well, you should. He gave you a big enough clue.
He did.
And you still don't know.
No. But I'm sure you'll tell me. Somehow I'm convinced you'll tell me.
He's a foreigner. He sells farm equipment. He talked about windy machines in front of his office. Obviously helicopters. We can eliminate the airport. Farm equipment doesn't fit. And there are no local Iron Curtain embassies. Which means, if you know this city at all, he's in one place and one place only.
Standing around for an hour.
Nevertheless, the great seeing eye says he's in there somewhere. According to the Bureau of Commerce, Albania is having a farm equipment exhibit.
So, go in and find him.
No, that's the main entrance. We'll let him find us.
All this waiting around is ridiculous. What am I doing here, by the way?
Sweetheart, I know you were Phi Beta Kappa at Bennington, but leave the driving to us, okay?
Leo.
As a matter of fact, I don't want to talk to Granacek. I don't even want him to know I'm here. The only reason I brought you along is you know him by sight. All I want to do is shoot him.
Shoot him?
With this. Meredith insists on having photographs of all her subjects.
You don't sound very enthusiastic about the idea.
Should I? It was hers.
You don't seem very enthusiastic about her either.
She's not the easiest lady to work for.
There's no law that says you have to.
Isn't there? Try the state penal code.
Alicia.
Who's he smiling at?
Alicia Dodd.
You let him get awfully close. You were too busy fixating on Alicia Dodd to notice him until he was right on top of you.
If you want to know the truth, I was busy telling her what I really think of you.
Oh, you shouldn't use that kind of language in front of any young girl.
She was very sympathetic. She said she thought slavery was dead.
This isn't slavery. You're being rehabilitated.
I'd rather weave baskets.
Well, we'll argue about it when you get back.
Get back? Where am I going?
To the hospital where Dodd was killed. I want you to talk to Billy Lambert.
Who's Billy Lambert?
Hurry up.
Billy Lambert? I'm Jake Wyler. I said I'm Jake.
All right. Can't hear a word. I'm listening to the new sound.
I'm Jake Wyler.
You're Judge Meredith's friend, right?
I wouldn't go that far. I have some pictures for you to look at.
Any good ones?
Not those kind of pictures.
Shame. I mean, I can still appreciate a nice pair of legs. Oh, things have changed for the better, I'll tell you that. In my day, we had to look at the corset ads in the Sears Roebuck catalog.
Mr. Lambert.
Oh, sorry. So you work for Judge Meredith. Well, there's none finer.
She must have brainwashed you.
Never even met her. But my son's been a lawyer in this town for a good many years. Used to worship the lady.
Listen, did we come here to gush or for you to identify pictures, huh?
Pretty. A little too young for me, though.
Listen, I want you to try and remember if you saw any of these people around the night that Dodd died.
Okay.
Okay, what? Which one of them was here that night?
All four of them.
All four of them.
Now give me the order in which they came to the hospital that night.
First Carolyn Dodd, then Anton Granacek. Isn't that wild?
Keep going.
Well, third was old Tiger Milk himself, Frank Morrison.
And last but not least, Rockmore.
So every single one of your suspects was in the murder room that night?
Mm-hmm.
And they all had motives. How long was Caroline with her husband that night? Could Billy tell you?
Just a few minutes. He took her up and down the same elevator.
But she was with Dodd a few minutes. And she's a rather athletic lady.
Yeah? Who? It's for you. Some lady named Meredith.
Oh, yes, one of Alicia's detectives.
This is Caroline Dodd.
What?
No, I'm afraid you're mistaken.
What would you think if I told you I had a witness?
He's lying, whoever he is. I did not see my husband that night.
Are you denying you went to the hospital?
Well, no, I was there, but
Why?
Because he phoned and he told me that he'd had a collapse and that he knew about Frank. I went over to try to calm him down.
How was he when you saw him?
I didn't see him. I knocked on the door and there was no answer. I decided that he was sleeping, so I went away.
Mrs. Dodd, did your fiancé know where you went that night?
Of course he did. I tell him everything.
Well, apparently he doesn't return you the favor.
What are you talking about?
After you left, your husband had another visitor, Frank Morrison.
That's a lie.
Is it? Well, why don't you ask him? Good night, Mrs. Dodd.
That doesn't even rate a Cupid doll.
Now, what's this case? It's spoiling my appetite, my social life, and my aim.
But not necessarily in that order.
The good judge doesn't seem to be too uptight.
That's because she's got you and me to carry the load.
There's nothing wrong with the old girl. It's just that she has a mother-hen complex.
You make it sound almost normal.
Well, would you rather be back in the house of slams?
Chloe, how many doctors has she seen this month?
Oh, only, 4.
The doctor of the week club. And sooner or later, one of them's going to find out something's wrong with her, and she'll be satisfied.
Well, she does have allergy.
All unknown to medical science. She'll outlive all 3 of us.
As a matter of fact, if you can get away with it, it's a nice way to have people take note of you.
Why the kind words all of a sudden? She gave you a raise.
It's what she didn't give me. The Dodd case.
The next one's yours. Which reminds me. Do that. Chloe, would you call that number for me?
No answer.
Good.
Why?
That's Granacek's home. So if he's not in, he's probably at the trade center working late. So?
So you're going to pay him a visit, I suppose?
That's better than sitting still.
Uh-huh. You want a little company, my man?
No, thanks, Quint. This time it's 1-to-1.
Jake? I tell you to be careful, but, you might say I have a mother-hen complex.
What's so hard about that?
perhaps he can.
Of course, my dear. The Royalton Apartments, number 6B. Yes. No. I'll be delighted to come. Of course. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to finish some work first. That's right. So I should be able to drop by after 11. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Bye-bye. You must be the irrepressible Mr. Wyler.
And you must know why I'm here.
For the letter that Leon Capel gave to Robert Dodd?
Not quite, but I'll settle for that.
Now, unfortunately, Mr. Wyler, that letter no longer exists. I burned it.
When?
The night I took it from Robert Dodd's hospital room.
After you killed him?
Now, Mr. Wyler, I did not kill Robert Dodd. But I'm afraid that in the years to come, I'll be unable to say the same about you.
Thanks for the warning.
I already gave you a warning, but you ignored it. I'm going to have to take other measures.
You don't expect me to sit here and let you...
You have no other option. I'm armed, you're not.
What makes you think so?
You are, how do you say it, a parolee, an ex-convict on probation. You're not allowed to carry a gun by law.
You seem to know a great deal about me.
I know enough. How selfish of you, Judge Meredith, to employ a man in so dangerous a profession who cannot arm himself.
But I still might have a gun. The reason I was arrested in the first place is because I broke the law. For all you know, I might be incurable.
I tend to doubt it.
Well, in that case, I'll make you a bet. 10 to 1, I can grab that gun off your desk before you can.
Perhaps you can. But before you try it, why don't you look behind you? I think you have met before. And now, if you would be good enough to accompany this gentleman.
Where?
I don't think it matters. Why not let him improvise?
Look, if you really didn't kill Dodd, there's no reason for you to kill me.
Now, Mr. Wyler, my government would rather keep secret the lengths to which it went to procure the Capel letter. I am an accredited representative of this exhibit, and I did break into Robert Dodd's hospital room.
But you didn't kill him.
That is correct.
He just let you look for the letter and take it away without a struggle.
He was scarcely in a position to stop me. You see, he was already dead when I arrived.
Oh, well, in that
Let's
case...
go.
What?
I said let's go.
Open it. Oh, by the way, Anton, there's just one more...
Nice to see you. Is there a back door in here?
Oh, where's your wall?
How do you, is there a phone around? I want to call the police. How do you do? Hello. Hi, how are you? Listen, you wouldn't speak English, would you? I didn't think so. No. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do?
I wouldn't advise you to call for any help, Mr. Wyler.
What good would it do? There aren't any interpreters around.
We're two old friends leaving a party. Let's smile and pretend we like each other.
You don't ask for much, do you? No, actually, this is very funny. You're gonna kill me and they don't even know it. Did you understand that? He's gonna kill me. No, kill me. Look, can't we at least have a drink and talk it over, huh?
Move and smile.
Un taca. America. Hey, I just wanted to say goodbye. Oh, let me say goodbye to my friends. I've been having a good time. How are you? I've always wanted to meet some people in the Middle East. I don't know, maybe get a chance to meet you and talk to you. Who knows, maybe strike up an oil deal. Oil? Oil. Oh, that got you, didn't it? Oil. I'll try one more time. Oil. Yes, oil. I'm in the oil business. Yes. Would you like to talk it over? You leaving? No, I go with you. You with us? Oil. Yes, oil. I don't understand what you're saying, but oil.
تعال معانا نعمل كونترات نحسب احسن اويل اراضي كثيره.
Yes, well you would have loved this movie, especially when they take Damascus. It was from your native land. It would have brought tears to your eyes. Very sad movie. And tell me, how's the pollution in your country? Huh? But oil. It's oil. We're going to talk about oil, huh? Oil.
معانا على انت وياي بنروح لهناك نعملها بتكون احسن شيء. انت بتكون احسن العالم. انت وياي راح نسوي فلوس كثير. ان عندنا اويل كثيره، عندنا هوايه اشياء كثيره كلش حلوه عظيمه والله العظيم.
I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed your company so much, I think I'll let you give me a lift. All right?
Oil? تفضل.
Call me sometime. We'll have lunch.
مثل اويل منيح اويل.
Oil.
ما سلامس هذا. عيش. ما سلامس. روح.
Mrs. Dodd, did your fiancé know where you went that night?
Of course he did. I tell him everything.
Well, apparently he doesn't return you the favor.
What are you talking about?
After you left, your husband had another visitor, Frank Morrison. Your photographs don't do you justice, Mr. Morrison.
That sounds like a dirty word in your mouth.
What word, Morrison?
Justice.
I won't argue the point.
What are you trying to do to Caroline?
Not a thing, providing she's innocent.
Who decides that?
I do. After you left, your husband had another visitor, Frank Morrison.
That's a lie.
Is it? Well, why don't you ask him? Good night, Mrs. Dodd. She obviously asked you.
Right.
And now you're here with a gun. Why?
Because you wreck things between me and Caroline.
Did I now?
When she went to see Dodd at the hospital that night, I got worried because I knew he had a very bad temper. So I decided to go there myself. Well, when I went to the room, Caroline wasn't there. But Dodd was. He was on the floor. And he was dead.
And so you thought Caroline had killed him?
I didn't know what to think. All I knew is that the man that she had come to see, the man who had every reason to hate her, was dead. So I decided to help her. I took a bed sheet. I tore it into strips and hung him on the bed. But I hung a dead man.
To protect Caroline.
Well, that's what I told her when you called, but it didn't do any good. She blew up at me anyway.
Well, naturally, your little improvisation activated the suicide clause in Dodd's insurance policy.
Caroline doesn't care about the money. She's mad because I thought she may be capable of murder.
We're all capable of murder.
I'm glad you understand that. Do you mind if I open the window? It's stuffy in here.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. I heard you were a fresh air fiend. That's nice, isn't it? Cool breeze on your face. The trouble is, you gotta take the good with the bad. The dust. The germs. You know what I read once in the paper? There's a couple tons of soot per square inch in the air. That's not very healthy. Cigarette?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now. You get some kind of condition, don't you? Well, you don't mind if I have a cigarette, do you? What's the matter? You look pale. Looking for something?
For a fly. So you can tear its wings off.
You're getting exactly what you deserve.
Why don't you go all the way? There's a humidifier over there. Turn it off.
Why are you being so helpful?
Because I detest incompetence. You're going to torture people. Do it right.
All right, I can wait. You're not going anywhere.
You might win. I'll open up a triple word for you, huh?
Right here, Judge.
Friend of yours?
Nodding acquaintance.
Should I wake him up?
No, leave him there. I have something much more important for you to do.
Like what?
Close the damn windows.
Oh, you want me to warm up some brandy for you?
No, thank you, Quint. I'll have some orange juice in the morning. I'm going to bed.
All right.
السلامة
تجي مع السلامة. أهلا وسهلا. والله العظيم أنت أحسن ابن حلال وكلش عظيم.
مع السلامة.
أنت لازم تجي مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
خابرك بكرة وأنت تعال معنا.
You have my number.
أي وقت بتجي
مع
تعال
السلامة.
معنا يا.
Thank you. Thank you.
بعدين حتى تجي.
Yes.
يا لا تخلينا في المرايح معنا.
Right. Ciao. مع السلامة.
يا ربي مع السلامة. مع السلامة. مع السلامة.
تليفونه.
إن عندنا أويل كثيرة، عندنا هواية أشياء كثيرة كلش حلوة عظيمة والله.
مع السلامة. أويل.
What are you doing with that?
What's it look like I'm doing? I'm loading it.
And you're also committing a compound felony. A, you're a parolee, and B, you haven't a license.
And C, I'm getting a clay pigeon complex. The next time somebody pulls a gun on me, I want to have one of my own.
What happened tonight?
Friend Granacek tried to have me killed.
Oh, so in a fit of juvenile pique, you're going to pay him back, right?
Right.
And with that?
I'll only use it if I have to.
Oh, fine. I've heard that bit of dialogue before. It is classic. Now, come on. Let's have a drink and talk it over.
Sorry.
Jake! You're a fool. You have all the instincts of a kamikaze pilot.
See you in the morning.
If you walk out of here, I'll have every cop in this city on your tail. I mean it. Your parole will be revoked.
Oh, the ultimate weapon, right? I figured you'd get down to blackmail sooner or later.
It is for your own good.
Go ahead, call the militia. Just means trading one jail for another.
Jake, I am warning you.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Toulouse here.
Does it matter? Just enjoy.
Hold it right there.
Howdy, partner. The saloon's over that way.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Where's your costume? You're not wearing a costume.
Well, sure I am. I came as a private detective.
Now you're teasing. You just didn't want to get dressed up. If you're a private detective, where's your gun? Oh, that's simply marvelous. What kind of a case are you on?
Piracy.
No.
Yeah. And the head of the ring is a man named Anton Granacek.
Anton? Why, I never knew. He's one of my dearest friends.
Well, in that case, maybe you could point him out and I can make an arrest.
Well, he's here somewhere. Now, what was he wearing?
I'd better browse.
Take him away quietly. We wouldn't want to ruin the party.
I say give him 20 years. That'll give him time to think. Put him in jail and throw the warden away.
Who's it?
All right, you guys. Now, Big Louie's taking over, see? Anytime any of you guys think you're big enough to move in, you're gonna know Big Louie's still in charge.
You know, that's marvelous.
Here, sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me, where did your friend go?
I have a lot of friends.
Oh, this was the Matador.
Oh, Anton. There was a call for him. He took it in the bedroom.
Thank you. But now I have to call the FBI. May I use your phone?
There's one in the pantry.
Thank you.
Give my love to J. Edgar.
All right. I'll meet you there in 20 minutes. I suggest you bring the money.
Are you going to arrest him now?
Outside. I don't want to spoil your party.
Oh, do come back.
Hey, taxi!
You're standing there for? We got seats.
I'm following a cab.
Must be a full moon out tonight.
through the rear door.
Yeah, but I'm in a hurry.
All exits through the rear door.
Stand the tail of that cab ahead of us.
Miss Dodd, my late husband used to say that nothing was ever accomplished, at least as far as business was concerned, after 6 o'clock at night.
Then kindly get me some results.
You'll get them at a suitable time, and I repeat, a suitable hour.
When were you born?
What?
Nobody could be this stubborn without being a Capricorn.
Ha-ha! The prodigal. How are things at the local playgrounds?
You heard.
Yes, I heard. Hit and run. I also heard about an unidentified wild man shooting at the car.
It wasn't a hit and run. It was a hit on purpose.
Did you get the license number?
Stolen car.
Would you two please tell me what you're talking about?
Anton Granicek was just murdered.
I didn't know.
Well, that's because you've been talking ever since you got here. Oh, Jake, Miss Dodd is very unhappy about the way we're handling her case.
Miss Dodd is about to hand out pink slips. Neither one of you has come up with a single thing. Now, I want to know who killed my father.
Alicia, we're working at it.
Are you? I don't think so. Why didn't you find out, for instance, that my father's partner, James Rockmore, is a thief? That he swindled $500,000 from the business while my father was away?
How did you know that?
Why didn't you know that? If you're such a great detective, how did this go undetected?
Well, unfortunately, Miss Dodd, one can't just walk into a corporation and examine the books.
Besides, if Rockmore did have a motive, he was the last of 4 to arrive at the hospital. Your father was already dead.
Maybe he was the first of 5. Maybe he was the first and last. There could have been all kinds of comings and goings that night.
We'll settle this in the morning. I'm going to bed.
What do you mean you're walking out just like that?
Good night, Miss Dodd. Oh, Jake, I believe you have something for me.
What What an absolutely terrible woman.
No, not really. She sends money to her mother.
Well, I'm wasting my time here.
Hey, where are you going?
To talk to James Rockmore.
Now?
I'm sorry, I'm not like your friend. I can't just casually go to sleep when there are questions to be asked.
Well, you just can't barge in on Rockmore alone, either.
Why not?
Because it might be dangerous.
I don't have any other choice. Do I? I think it's a good idea coming up at this hour. You know, the element of surprise.
I'm surprised I'm even awake.
After we question Rockmore, I think we should rout Carolyn out of her bed.
Carol.
Oh, yes. You don't think I've forgotten my beloved stepmother, do you? Then there's Frank Morrison. Maybe we should have a talk with him, too.
We have a big night planned. Wake me when it's over. No. You wait here for me.
Oh, no, I didn't come all this way just to sit in a car.
And I didn't come all this way for you and Rockmore to beat each other's throats. Stay put.
Well, you're being unfair.
Listen to the radio. They have some fascinating prices on corn and barley this time of day. Stay put.
It's a long way from town, Mr. Wyler.
Yes, sir, it certainly is, but... Well, I had this... sudden urge to talk to you, so by golly, I just hopped in the car, and here I am.
What do you want to talk about?
Money. $500,000, to be exact.
Walk with me, Mr. Wyler. It's a prototype of a new model. I'm checking it out.
Oh, nice-looking piece.
Yeah, take this.
What's this?
Sequential target device. Just turn it to any setting.
Oh?
Money, Mr. Wyler.
Yes.
It's always a provocative beginning.
Well, maybe I can make it even more provocative. The sum in question was embezzled from your firm.
This is interesting. And the embezzler?
I hear he likes to get up early in the morning and he shoots a mean rifle.
Mr. Wyler, no matter what Alicia may have told you, I didn't embezzle any money. I invested it. Unwisely, perhaps, but my intentions were innocent. I knew Robert was returning from his trip, so I asked Alicia for some funds to cover my losses.
$500,000?
I thought she could borrow it against the company's stock. But a day later, she called back, said it was impossible. That's the whole story.
Just one other thing. Why did you see Dodd at the hospital?
He telephoned and asked me to come. I suppose he just wanted someone to talk to. Target.
What did he say?
He was already dead. I was shaken, naturally. I should have reported it. But I had to get out of there. I needed time to think.
At least you don't have to worry about those funds you invested. Pretty convenient suicide.
Mr. Wyler, I've asked you to stay out of this. Now, unfortunately, you've unearthed a good deal of embarrassing information.
I guess I'm just too conscientious.
You know, a test range isn't the safest place in the world. No wonder more people aren't killed. That target over there won't fall. You mind taking a look at it?
I have a low mechanical aptitude. Besides, maybe you missed it.
I never miss. Go ahead, please.
Why don't you review your strategy? This really isn't necessary.
Come now, Mr. Wyler. One might assume I was going to shoot you in the back. Fix the target. And we'll go up to the house for some coffee.
I'm a little wobbly. By the way, thanks.
You're lucky I got bored with the corn prices.
Our friend, he's locked up in the basement. Can I have some more coffee? Sure. Thank you. But I've got a problem.
What is it?
I don't think he did it.
Sure ball, run with it.
Point of information first. Do you know how Alicia Dodd knew that Rockmore was stealing from her father? He told her. He tried to borrow the money from her, but she couldn't come through.
Figures. She went to the bank and probably found out that she was cut off without a cent.
We're on the same wavelength.
It would seem that way. Dodd's only beneficiary is his wife, Caroline.
So the only way Alicia could inherit is...
Exactly. For Daddy to be killed and for Stepmommy to take the rap. That would make Alicia the sole heiress.
You have a foul and convoluted mind.
She probably found out that Caroline was going to the hospital, so she simply got there first and indulged in a bit of patricide.
The worst thing about this theory is we both agree on it.
Right tail on the right donkey. The only thing she couldn't figure out was that Frank Morrison would show up and fake things with a bedsheet.
She had all the luck, didn't she?
Now, I strongly recommend that you take care of yourself. Where Where is she now?
I just sent her to the kitchen for some
Hang up, Jake. What are you doing?
I'm counting. That's the third gun that's been pointed at me in the last 48 hours.
Well, I'm sorry, darling. I'm afraid it's going to be your last. Don't answer that.
You tried to kill me last night after you ran down Granachek.
That's not true. I deliberately missed you. I like you, Jake.
But you didn't like Granachek. Why?
Because he's trying to blackmail me. You see, he found something of mine in my father's room.
Contact lenses.
Mm-hmm. He knew it belonged to me because I kept losing it the night we had dinner.
He's very persistent.
I'm sorry about this, Jake.
So am I, because the minute you pull that trigger, I'm going to pull the pin on this hand grenade.
You wouldn't.
Yes, I would. As a matter of fact, that's all right. As long as I hold on to this handle, we're safe. But the minute I let go, boom! Oh, you could try and make a run for it, if you like. But you wouldn't make it.
Here.
Thank you.
And answer that terrible lady you work for.
You were saying?
Jake, are you all right?
Do I detect a note of concern in your voice?
Jake, don't you ever hang up on me like that again. What happened?
We were eyeball to eyeball, but the other side blinked.
Let me talk to her and you get rid of that thing. You there, Judge Meredith?
Always here.
Are you happy now?
Not very. I would like to ask you one last question.
All right, go ahead.
Why did you want the case reopened? Didn't you know you would run the risk of discovery?
I'd run it again for that kind of money. Only next time I'll hire one of your competitors. Maybe they won't be as good. Well, maybe I better call the police.
I guess so.
What are you doing?
Oh, lighting my cigar. Tile O.
What do you do with your husband when you stand to inherit loads of money, but you have to be widowed or divorced to claim it? A tough dilemma from Peggy Cummins and Donald Sinden in tomorrow's comedy movie at 3:30.